Hi, I'm Linda from paperboutiquewithlinda.com. I ordered the Griffin Minc 6-inch foil and glitter machine with accessories from HSN several months ago. I also ordered the auto ship and it was part of a today's special. This is my third video on the Minc, so be sure to check out my YouTube channel to see my other Minc videos. Today I want to demonstrate the Minc, let me move this out of the way, the Minc toner pens that were included as part of my second auto ship. First, I want to show you some of the results I had using the toner pens, and then I'll pause and I'll actually run it through the Griffin Minc machine. Well, let me show you what I did. I used, for this particular one, I used a setting of 3. I used my pen, and I used Griffin's clear carrier sheet that came with it. And I'm going to hold this and zoom in just a little bit. This gave me the worst result, and I'm very fussy about the Minc coverage. This was, I did it using a setting of 3 on the machine. I used it with a clear carrier sheet, and I ran it through the machine twice. That gave me probably the worst result. Next, I used the pen again, and I just used a small sample because I didn't want to waste foil. This one is using the setting of 3, and I ran it through the machine once as well. And I'm not sure that you're picking up any of that black, but it's not perfect coverage. And when I used this, instead of using, I found a better result by using just a sheet of laser paper. It's a little thicker than copy paper, and I used that as my carrier sheet. So then I decided to run it through on 3 using that laser paper carrier sheet, and I ran it through twice. This setting of 3, this gave me a little bit better coverage. I'm trying to just kind of tilt it so you can see that that's a little bit better coverage. And then I tried it again to try to replicate it. I used it on a setting of 3, and I used, once again, for all of these except the first one, I used the laser paper, and it did okay. It didn't do great, but I found the very best result was to use the laser paper carrier sheet. And if you don't have laser copy paper, go ahead and try regular copy paper. I tried it on a setting of 4, and I ran it through the machine twice using that laser paper again as the carrier sheet. And this is by far the best result. And then I tried to replicate it again with 4, setting of 4, and then the laser carrier sheet. Now, the other effect that I really liked with the pen is using it, I'll zoom out just a little bit on this one. I liked using it to just decorate. Like, these are some die cuts from Griffin's paper collection, her Christmas card kit from last year. And I used it here, and I used it here. And I'm out of frame there. I tended to get the best result using it in this case. And of course you'd want to choose a different color. And what I did here is I used pink foil so you could see. And once again, these are all a setting of 4 using the laser paper carry sheet. What I found to be my favorite and what I thought worked the best is I took the pen, and I'll show you this in just a moment, inked around the edges of this and then foiled it. And I used pink here so you could see, and I'm trying to catch the light here. I'm hoping you can see that because that's a really nice effect. Just a couple of things before I actually show you the demo that I want to comment on. I wished the pens had a little finer point. And this is the 3rd video that I've done, and I still tend to get inconsistent results. I like the Minc machine, but I have to be honest, I'm not in love with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause and then I'll heat up the machine, and it's good to warm up your machine at least 5 to 6 minutes. And then I'll show you how I foiled this. Now I'd like to show you the Anna Griffin Minc toner pens, and the noise that you hear in the background is the Minc machine. It's warming up. When you get these pens, well, at least when I got them with the auto ship, they'll come like this, and you can see that the tip of this, let me move that out of the way, the tip is white. So what you're going to do is just, I'm not going to do it because I want to save this one, you're just going to push down on it and prime it until this white fills up with the ink. And let me show you. I've already gone ahead and done that. And when you're writing with it, you're going to want to just put a little pressure on it. And that's a little sloppy, but you can get a lot neater if you take your time. At this point, I want to show you how I inked the edges of the die cut. I found this to be my favorite technique. And let me move this white so it doesn't do things with my camera. And what I'm going to do is just, I hope you can see this, I'm just going to go ahead and take the pen and just kind of go around the edges. And what I did on the other ones is you can color in. I do wish that this pen had a little finer tip on it. Now, what I would normally do, just because of time, I'm not going to take the time to do this, and we'll see if it works. To get this effect, what I did was I let this dry, and I'm going to put it in a little wet, so we may not get as good of effect, but when you're doing it at home, make sure you let it dry. So this again is the carrier sheet, and the fun thing about, you could do a lot more than just that edge, but I'm just showing you. You can just use little scraps of paper. So I have the foil, and then I have my machine. Let me slide it in for you. I have my machine warming up, and as you can see, it is on 4, and I want to just double check that I didn't move that. Okay, and we're going to run it through twice, and this is sort of boring, like watching paint dry. What I like to do when I'm using my Minc machine is I use an old mat. This blue mat is an older cutting mat. And I also use an old cutting board because the Minc machine gets really, really hot. And when I first used it, I used it just on a mat like this, and it warped the mat. So that is just something not to do. And I know you probably can't see this coming out of the machine. I'm not pulling it. I'm going to just take it out and run it through. Once again, this is laser paper. It's just laser paper for a laser copy machine. And that, for me, tended to work the very best. Like I said earlier, you could try copy paper. I'm running it through the machine twice. We may not get a perfect result because I didn't let that toner pen dry, and I did let it dry on all of these samples. So we're almost there. It's almost like watching paint dry. Okay, then I'm going to just move this out of the way, and let's see the result. And I like to just take my finger and just kind of go over it a little bit just to get that foil on there. And I'm hoping I'm in camera, and I'm just going to pull it off. Oh, and you can see you just got a nice edge. I did this edge. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see that edge. There we go. I put it on just a little bit thicker. There you go. There's a good angle. I put it on a little thicker so you can see. And that's the technique. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching, and for more projects and ideas, please visit me at www.paperboutiquewithlinda.com, and I'll have all 3 videos on this post regarding the Minc machine. Bye-bye.